In this video, we're going to share the full interview we did with Thomas Liebrand from Key&Cards. They're a supplier of self-check-in terminals here in Switzerland, and as such, they have a very unique and detailed insight into the technology. Hello and welcome to another Ask Your Hotel Techie video. I'm Alicia from Hotel Spider, and if you're looking to get your hotel tech related questions answered, you're in the right place. On this channel, we share our know-how about hotel technology with you in video format. This video here is part of a 4-video series that we did about self-check-in technology and automation for hotels. If you didn't check out the first video, I would start there and then come back to this one later. I'll link to that one up above in the cards. The video we show you now is the full interview we did with Thomas Liebrand from Key&Cards, a provider of self-check-in terminals here in Switzerland, and all the unique insight and details about the tech that he shared with us. Enjoy the conversation.
My name is Thomas Liebrand. I work for the Key&Card here out of Switzerland. I work in a lead position for developing self-check-in systems and hotel automation systems. Key&Card started about 30 years ago with installing and distributing of electronic hotel locks. About 10 years ago, we started developing with our own self-check-in system for hotels.
What exactly are the tools you're offering when it comes to self-check-in today?
With self-check-in, we have what the industry calls a kiosk, like a terminal where the guest arrives, so he can actually perform a check-in, get his room key. Well, we have two lines, right? We have a wall-mounted kiosk or a wall-mounted self-check-in terminal, and we have something we call the lobby version. Well, the lobby version is more something you can integrate directly into your furniture. We can adapt to their colors, we can adapt even a bit with the form. We can integrate it like in a sideboard.
What are the touch points the hotel guest actually has with your technology?
The first touch point is the guest authenticating at the self-check-in terminal. He has already made his reservation. Most likely it was through a booking platform. So the guest arrives, he has already his reservation, and then the first thing we do, we authenticate the guest so we know who is using the system. We do that even with the reservation number, which can be from the PMS, or it can also be the reservation number which was provided from the booking platform. Or we do it with a different approach while scanning the passport to authenticate. After that, he will be asked for a payment. He will fill out the registration form, if obligatory. And he will get his room key, even a physical room key card, or then it may also be a PIN code or another kind of a virtual key like a mobile key. And basically after creating the key, he's checked in, and that's where he first touched us, and will come back for even replacing a room key when he lost one, or to perform a checkout if maybe he pays up his room consummation during checkout.
You base yourself on the data that you get from the PMS, is that correct?
Exactly. We believe the PMS should always be kind of the single source of truth. Well, from the hotel perspective, the idea is that they do not have to do anything special. They can use their usual workflow, and that's where we integrate. We integrate with an API of the hotel PMS. On-site reservations, but we also can do some other things like sending back payments which are done at the kiosk, or send the check-in message basically, so the hotel owner knows that the guest arrived and is checked in. And we obviously also integrate with various locking systems to create a key card, to encode a key card, or to create a PIN code, or create a mobile key.
What's the implementation process like when a hotel wants to start working with you?
If we already have a locking system and a PMS we integrated with, the process is fairly easy to get in the hotel. What we need is a good internet connection to the self-check-in terminal, and obviously as well a good power supply. Best case, we can install within something like 4 weeks. But it really depends on the interfaces, like the hotel PMS and the locking system.
What kind of hotels have the most success with this kind of self-check-in technology?
There are very different approaches how hotels work with us. There are usually smaller, mid-sized hotels which work with our system for like in the evening, so they can close the reception earlier. Then there are other hotels which decide to entirely work with a self-check-in system. Entirely means they do not have occupied reception any longer, and they work with a self-check-in system during 24 hours, 7 days a week. It means also that you can keep your sources of reservations open, meaning not only for hotels which work 24 hours with a self-check-in system, but also for hotels who say, okay, at 8 or 10 or 11 I close my reception and then I work with in the evening hours during the night with the self-check-in system, accept 24 hours reservations. And also it gives some convenience to the guest. They don't have to hurry. I have to be precisely there before 11. I have to make it somehow. A different approach we've seen taken, which is basically a self-check-in based solution, but which is guided or assisted by reception staff. These are usually our lobby product, which are built in like in a sideboard, right? So the customer can even perform the self-check-in process entirely themselves, or they have a reception staff assisting them for convenience reasons. And then when we go into 4, even 5-star hotel concepts, they usually work then with our electronic form of registration process, which is tablet-based. We have 2 possibilities to pre-fill a registration form, right? So obviously one is with the guest information we take out from the PMS. And the other one is working with a desktop version of our passport scanner. We put it directly on the scanner, extract that information, and pre-fill the registration form.
Would be great if you could share some sort of context with us. Cost, what's the price model? What's the investment? Very broad that I have to consider.
Well, considering that you have a PMS we work with, and that you have a locking system we work with, entire self-check-in system starts roughly about 14,000 euros. We have some options like the passport scanner, the credit card terminals, with different credit card terminals to work with different payment service providers. But roughly we start about 14,000 euros, yes. You buy the product, you own the product, you can work with the product, but we also have some kind of software update service. So you always have the newest software version on your terminal. You don't miss out on any new features. You want to know that you can call us, and that's actually what I guarantee our customers. They have an emergency, they can call us.
What are the limitations for you when it comes to self-check-in technology today?
The most limitation we see on availability of services we need to consume. It starts with a good network interface, that I have a certain speed of a network available, right? I have to communicate with different services, and these services need also to be available. I need to communicate with a locking system, I need to communicate with a hotel PMS, and maybe even with some sort of system to automatically forward the registration to the government or another service partner.
What are the next steps to make that journey even easier? What are the things you're excited about in the future?
Well, what I'm really excited about for the future is that in some countries it will be allowed to actually keep the registration form entirely electronic. This gives us more possibility, like to re-recognize someone on arrival, so you can completely skip the registration process because you already know your customer, right? The most interesting part I see in authentication and also in machine learning. So we can adapt way more easier how the customer actually interacts with us. Interacting means we will see different methods of biometrics, like facial recognition. And we can also adopt machine learning to understand how the customer wants to interact with our system. What is the most natural for our customer? We can learn from his journeys. He might be used to follow a process in a certain way we have not anticipated. And with machine learning, we can learn from our customer and improve.
Human interface where you're tapping things, where is that evolving?
What we're talking right now is basically authentication. And when you talk authentication, it's either something you have, like a device or a reservation number you got, or it's something you are, biometrics like facial recognition or a fingerprint. The problem nowadays is not the technology. With the technology, we can do actually much more as the legal point actually allows us to do. Because if you want to authenticate your guest with like facial recognition on arrival, you have to compare against something. The problem is really the data concern here. There are limitations by law which prohibit you to use certain biometrics data. Technically speaking, that you authenticate yourself with like facial recognition, but on your own device, that's possible. The problem here is more you need one more step, right? You have the app you use on your phone to recognize you and to communicate with you. One more step. So yes, it's possible, but again, there is something more to do prior to the arrival. And at the end, what we really focus on is making it really as easy as possible. You arrive without anything special, and you should get into your room as fast as possible. That's what's. You're here to relax in the hotel, right? So you're not here to work. You're here to relax, first of all.
That's it for my conversation with Thomas. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out the rest of the videos in the series. Feel free to subscribe, like it, and of course share it with your network. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm Alicia from Hotel Spider. This is Ask Your Hotel Techie. Stay tuned for the next videos.